Guys, how you doing? Welcome, come on in. I'm looking forward to my presentation today. I've been doing quite a fair bit of work to put it together for you guys because, well, I don't know, I just love it. I love that it is helping so many, and if it can help just one person. Hi Rihanna, how you doing? We were texting earlier. Nice to see you. Hi Rebecca, how you going? Hi Rihanna. Yeah, good morning. Good morning. It's just popping up on the screen. Nice to see you guys. I am, well, I'll start with my gratitudes. That's what you guys do, and I love it because living in gratitude makes all the difference, doesn't it? Gratitude's the big multiplier. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thanks so much. I love being a part of it. I think that Happiness Aid is, well, I'm grateful for that, to be honest. I really am. And I'm grateful for the reach you guys have, which is amazing, because you help so many more people. It's just amazing. So we can all have these genius zones, but if we keep it a secret, then it's not going to help anyone, is it? So I'm grateful for today. I was just thinking about it as I was setting up here. Well, one of the things is I treated myself to a Mother's Day present, and I got myself one of these lights. So you guys are sitting in the middle of a, do I look better? You guys are sitting in the middle of a ring halo donut light thing. And so I'm grateful for that. But one of the real big ones actually that I'm really grateful for is my upbringing, because I was brought up quite strictly by our mum, and she taught us from a really young age the importance and the power. Yeah, Diva Light, that's right. They are amazing, aren't they? Yeah, they look so much better. I don't really look like this I'm joking. But mum taught us from a really young age to be responsible for our own actions. And that, I think, I'm going to delve deeper into that. That's one of the main things in You Master. It's actually the beginning, opening. Yeah, hi, how you going? Yeah, and so self-responsibility, or taking responsibility for your own actions, is something that mum taught us from a really young age. And if I hadn't have been taught that, or hadn't been drummed into me, then I don't know if I'd be where I am now. I really don't. I definitely wouldn't be. So self-responsibility, in taking responsibility for your own actions, and then even more so than that, mum didn't teach us this, but I'm going to teach it today, later on, is taking responsibility for your own thoughts. You guys understand that. But so I'm really grateful for my story and my upbringing, because it's one of the key learnings, the key traits. And I'm going to actually go into a story of what's happening right now in my family, because the point of it is self-responsibility. So my story in a nutshell, and in fact, have I told you guys I've written a book, and it's not published yet, but it will be. I'll let you know as soon as it is. It's called Empowered Women Empowering the World, and it's a collection of 15 women all over Australia overcoming adversity to make a big difference in their own families, communities, and globally. It's an epic read. So my story in a nutshell is, most of you guys know, is, if you don't, we grew up in the wheat belt in WA, and we had a perfect upbringing. My early childhood years, I remember just being so wonderful. I wasn't in the house with mum. I was dad's boy. I'm the eldest of 4 girls, and all dad wanted was a boy, because that's what dads want, I think, as a rule. But, you know, secretly, I think that a lot of dads want a boy. Anyway, so I was dad's boy, and I would be on the ute with him, on the passenger seat of the ute, bringing the sheep in. I would be in the header and the harvester with dad. I was never at home with mum and the little girls. I was, yeah, you were too, Beck, yeah. You want a signed copy? Of course. When it comes, it will be. So I was dad's little girl. I was dad's shadow. I would be on the motorbike with him. I'd be in the header with him. I'd be in the ute with him. I'd be in the sheep yards with him. I'd be in the shearing shed with him. I would be wherever he was. I really was. I was dad's little girl. And then when he took, yeah, you were daddy's boy too. Yeah, I used to wear black shorts like dad, like black stubbies. And half the time I didn't wear a t-shirt. And I had my hair cut short. I really wanted to be like, I know, now I'm such a girly girl, but I really was a boy. And Then when Dad took his life when I was 8, it was like it ripped me apart at 8 years of age. So suicide to me destroys families. Our family didn't get destroyed, but because Mum was such a strong, resilient, well-adjusted, grounded woman. And she taught us 4 girls how to be the same as her. And then I'm taking it to another level because Mum actually was so resilient. And I spoke about this in my first presentation, where resilience is steadfast and strong and nothing ever penetrates it because you are like a rock. But then internally, like Mum didn't deal with things properly and she got really sick. She lost her mind in the end and Mum died 4 years ago. Bless her. I nursed her to death here in our house. She died in our house, warm and snug in a bed with her whole family around her. It was amazing, as much as it could be. And I feel truly blessed to be able to do that. Hi, Russell. How you going? Nice to see you. The story of this is that my passion is to create grounded, resilient, well-adjusted children reach their full potential. That is you hear me say it all the time, that is my passion. And if what I'm doing isn't doing that, then I don't do it. So within my array of businesses, I have quite a lot of them, and it's a juggling act, but I love it, that's me. If I am not heading towards that, then I don't do it. I cut it. And so that is what keeps me focused. Anyway, enough about me, that's me. I would like to cover You Mastery, which is actually the second module in that online course that I've done for kids. But what I'm presenting to you guys today is for adults and parents. Not even just for parents, it's actually for adults in general. Because if you can master you, then you can do more, be more, have more, and give more. So much more. If you can master you first, then the rest is easy. Easier. Nothing good is ever easy. I know that's a bad mantra to have, but it just, nothing good happens. If it happens easy, then it can go easy. But if you've worked hard for it and been in there for the long haul, then it won't go, anyway. So, thanks. So if you can master you, your potential is unlimited. So my first lesson is self-responsibility in You Mastery. And it is one of the main downfalls in today's Western world society. I truly believe. Parents aren't teaching children self-responsibility. It's the teacher's fault, it's the principal's fault, it's the government's fault, it's that here in Australia, this is what's happening a lot, okay? In other countries, it's not so bad, but definitely in Australia. It's the fault of the Chinese, for COVID, it's the fault of this, it's somebody else's fault. It's not to take ownership and to take responsibility on your part in it is quite confronting. Hi Mark, how you doing? Is quite confronting, and most humans don't do it. And then what is so sad is if parents aren't doing it, they aren't teaching their children to do it, because you lead by example, yeah? Self-responsibility, taking ownership of your own actions, that's the first one. But even deeper than that, your own thoughts, feelings, goals and dreams. Taking responsibility for them and taking ownership over what you think, what you say, what you do, what your dreams are, what your goals are, where you're heading in life, where you are in life in this current position. The first thing is to take responsibility for it, because where you are in your life is a direct relation on the thoughts, the feelings, the actions that you've done leading up to this point here now. And to some people, this is scary. When you first realize this, when I first realized this, I actually wasn't that impressed, because where I was at wasn't a great place. It wasn't where I wanted to be. But then when I got over that first, oh my God, it is actually my responsibility, then I realized the power in that. And if where I wasn't where I wanted to be, it was so powerful because I could change that. If where I wanted to be was here, then all I needed to do was adjust my thoughts, my feelings, my actions, my words, my goals and my dreams, and then I can get there. Do you see the power in that? Self-responsibility. If you can understand that if it is to be, it's up to me. It's so, hi Rachel, how you going? Nice jumping in, guys. If it is to be, it's up to me. Of course, there's more than that. You can outsource and you can, like in business anyway, and you can actually rely on other people, but it is your responsibility to take ownership of where you are now. Not only in your actions, but in your thoughts as well. And so if you have got, so one of the testers for me for thoughts, okay, when I first wake up in the morning, and I've been through this not that long ago, I would wake up in the morning and go, oh my God, I've got so much to do. Oh my God, how am I ever going to get that done? Oh my God, how am I ever going to pay for all that? This was my waking thoughts. That is anxiety, isn't it? And I always thought anxiety was for them. I'm never going to get anxiety. I'm too resilient. I'm too tough. I can handle anything. You see where that was heading? I wasn't taking responsibility for my own thoughts. And so through the power of meditation, positive affirmations, gratitude, visualization, all of the tools that I teach in the next level, which is called Dream Mastery, I have adjusted my belief system so that when I wake up in the morning, my first waking thought isn't panic. So many people do that. And it's so sad because it sets you up for the rest of the day, week, months, years of running away from something or chasing something that's always dangling like a bright, shiny object. And that's why gratitude's so important. Am I making sense? Give me a thumbs up and tell me I'm making sense, because I'm getting pretty deep here. I'm not cutting to the chase because of BS parenting and BS, I'm not into BS. So, self-responsibility, choosing how I've got my notes up here so I don't get off track. Yeah, cool, thanks guys. So, taking responsibility. So, not waiting, this is another one, not waiting for someone else to decide for you. Not waiting for someone else to make something happen for you. A lot of Australians, I'm not going to get shot down here for this, but it's true. A lot of Australians start thinking that somebody else owes them. How shit's that? Yeah, that, the world owes them a living. Or that, did that used to be you too, Rach? I gotcha. It's because it's a terrible way to live, isn't it? You're talking about the waking up in the morning with anxiety. It's a terrible way to live. And all you need to do is reprogram your belief systems. You say all that you need to do. It's actually quite a in-depth run of things. But if you can reprogram that, and then the universal law of attraction happens, and then things happen abundantly, and it all rolls from there, and it's easier from there. If we can change, if we can firstly understand the way our mind works in mind mastery, then we can work on ourselves. And then we can work on everything else. This is how we work. Okay. Oh yeah, I was listening to so I am my happiest when I'm learning and growing and pushing my growth edge. Okay, so that is where I'm happiest. I've worked out what makes me tick. I love it when I am learning and growing. And so I was listening so I love tapping into the likes of the Happiness Aid or into podcasts or webinars where I was listening to Janine Ellis yesterday, okay, in Boost Juice. So she owns Boost Juice. Well, she's the founder of Boost Juice. And she was on Survivor. I don't watch telly, but I did watch some of the replays that she's done. And she was saying that one of the things with COVID-19 is it was a little bit like Survivor set her up for this, and she was correlating COVID-19 and Survivor, and she was talking about a lot of the things that COVID-19 has done is taken away some of the things we took for granted. So, the ability to give someone a hug or shake someone's hand or go out for dinner or our children going to school. Like, it's taken away some of those things that we did every day, or even just everybody going to Bunnings at once, or, buying toilet paper for a while. We couldn't even buy toilet paper. So it took away some of those things that are usual for us, okay? So a lot of our usual liberties were taken away. So some of our liberties were taken away. But what she was saying was, if we can stop, take responsibility for where we are at now in COVID-19, whichever state, country you're in, and pivot, take responsibility and act. So even within these, this is what she had to do in Survivor. So she wasn't allowed food, she wasn't allowed shelter, she wasn't allowed the basic necessities or liberties, but she had to work within that framework. Okay, so that's gone. Let's take responsibility for ourselves and see what we can make within here. And that's why this online, that's why I personally am pivoting so much, and it's making all the difference. Not just myself, to so many people. And the first thing is to take responsibility for where you're at. Okay, so 3 of my businesses have closed because of COVID-19. Yeah, okay, so our income has reduced by 80% because of COVID-19. I could sit there and blame the Chinese. I could blame the government. I could blame anything I could think of. You can be as creative as you like. Like our mind will make up whatever we want to, and we can justify it any way we like. Or you can take full responsibility for where you're at. Your income wasn't diversified enough to begin with, and then you can just act on it. So, self-responsibility, I could talk, it's so important. It's just so important. If we can teach our children to be responsible, that's the story I wanted to tell you. Hang on. For their own actions. So my eldest son right now he's kind of, I don't really know, but he's really cruisy fella, and he does things easily, and hasn't taken responsibility for his own actions, and he's homeschooling. So he's in year 9, and as a result, he's not going so well in a couple of subjects. And now I could have, darling, let me, I could have fluffed around that. And I did for a while, actually. I actually caught myself on this. I fluffed around it for a while. And I would say, look, it's not your fault. Hear this parenting, right? It's not really your fault. It's, I could hear myself. When I thought back later, I went, oh my God, Sally. It's not really your fault. I took out my kids out straight away because I could see what was happening in Europe. And there was 2 weeks there before kids weren't allowed at school. My kids weren't there. But he hadn't taken responsibility and pivoted and gone online. And I hadn't checked it up. And as a result, he hasn't got some assessments in. So then coming back to school now, he's been back for 2 weeks. I jumped in and had a look at what was going on, and he was continuing not getting his assessments done when he was at school. And he was blaming that his iPad was this, or that, it deleted on his iPad, or his iPad wasn't there, whatever it is. And so I have just let him fail. He's in detention for a long time now. This is serious. I was actually a straight A student. Wasn't I, Mrs. Jones? When she jumps in, she'll tell you, Shelley will tell you. She had a new one. And my husband was too. And so we don't understand. And so we don't understand how you could let yourself fail. And so I'm feeling like a failed parent. But in fact, I'm not. Because this is a perfect life skill. I'm not going to be there when he is working or when he's running his own business to make sure that he is self-responsible and accountable for himself. So he can fail now, suffer those hard consequences, because nobody likes to be a loser. Nobody likes to not be doing their best. This child has the potential to be a straight A student. He's highly intelligent. It's a good life skill to learn at 14 years of age now, isn't it? So I don't know. So that I just like delved in really deep there, because self-responsibility, if you are not responsible for your own actions, thoughts, feelings, who else is going to be? It's up to you. Okay, right. I do have a fair bit more. How am I going? Oh my God. All right, I'm going to get through these. My second story, or the second aspect about mastering yourself, is integrity and honesty. So integrity or honesty is, the way I talk about this with kids is, just because somebody doesn't see it or somebody doesn't know that you've done something or haven't done something, doesn't mean it's okay. Because the most important person knows that you've done it or haven't done it, and that is you. So living in integrity and living honestly, yeah, cool. Hi, Natasha. Nice to see you, mate. Living in integrity or living in honesty is actually living in true to you. And this trips up. Hi, Katie. How you doing? Nice to see you. This trips up so many people. In fact, it's tripped me up in the past too, when I was a teenager. And I was thinking, nobody knows. It's okay. But actually, you know. And the way I tell this story with kids, and it's pretty funny. I didn't use any of my kids or my family's kids. I just made up a name with this one. But integrity and honesty, I talk about it every time she steals a cookie. She actually steals some money out of her mum's purse. Somebody hit a baseball or softball hit, and she was on first base and it landed in, and she called it out so that her team could win. Every time she was unhonest, and then they went on that call because she called it. Every time she was living out of integrity or honest with herself, she actually grew a feather underneath, like a chicken feather. And she turns, until Albert the wise unicorn comes in and tells her what she's doing. He turns her, she actually, all the way up to here, she had to wear long sleeve shirts and everything. And started turning into a chicken, because she was being a chicken and not facing up to the fact that she wasn't being honest, not with other people, but more importantly, with herself. So integrity and honesty is a really confronting one. And you can I know quite a lot of people, in fact, and you can see straight through it when people are BS, can't you? I know quite a lot of people. One lady springs to mind that does not live in integrity. What comes out of her mouth has been made up. And then she starts believing that. And that just works your way down. That is just that you have to carry so much baggage, because it doesn't matter what other people think. It actually matters what you think of you. That's really what it boils down to. So living in integrity and being honest with you, the most important person is to be honest with yourself. And that is pretty cool. I like the way that I have done that with chicken, because nobody wants to be thought of as a chicken, do they? And she's got feathers all over her body. And the way she gets rid of them is by living in integrity or living honestly. So when her mum says, have you had a bath? And she says, yeah, but she hasn't, she loses a feather, and then she comes back to normal. So that's, I don't know, I think that's pretty cool analogy of living in integrity and living honestly. Yeah. That's a good one. I don't know why, but sorry guys. I had notifications off, but somebody's called through. I'm really sorry. The next one is respect for others. So in this story, or in this ability of mastering you, in you mastery, respect for others is where, and I teach this with the kids I talk about leaving a mark. You leave a mark on somebody. Every interaction you have with someone leaves a mark, whether it's a positive interaction or a negative. You leave a mark on them. And that is either a bright, shiny light, or like a shiny piece of bright light. This is why I explain it to the kids. Or whether it is a black, dark bruise. Yeah, so respect for others. If you treat people with respect, when they leave your presence, they have another shiny, bright spark on them. If you treat people with disrespect, not even with your words, but with your actions, then it will leave a dark bruise. And she has these power goggles or these power glasses on where she can actually see what she's leaving on. I actually cover this with Lillian, one of my nieces. And Albert puts these glasses on so she can see whether she's leaving a bright, shiny mark or whether she is leaving a black, dark bruise. And so the choice is hers, what she does. And she turns from leaving bruises everywhere. When she first arrives, when Albert jumps in and puts the glasses on her, she's horrified because her mum has bruises all over her, her teacher's got bruises all over her, her little brother's got bruises all over her, and she's horrified that she's actually caused that. And so he teaches her to treat people with respect, and everybody knows how to be treated with respect. It's like the golden rule, isn't it? And that's what I cover, the golden rule. Treat other people as you would like to be treated. And so that is treating people with respect. That's the first one. And then the second one rolls off from that is kindness and respect for yourself as well. So what happens to Lillian in this story is see, this is so important for adults as well, because we catch ourselves, don't we? Like sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I just said that. Or, like with staff or with my husband actually, or with my children, or with anybody that I deal with. I would like them to leave my presence feeling uplifted with a bright, shiny spark on them because I just want to. That's what I want. That's what everybody actually genuinely wants. If everybody treated everybody with respect, what a different world we'd have. Everybody with bright, shiny lights on. If somebody leaves your presence and they are literally beaming, how good does that make them feel? And then more importantly, how good does that make you feel? And that's the next story, kindness and respect for yourself. So we talk about leaving a mark on somebody, whether it's a bright, shiny mark or a black bruise. But respect for yourself is the same. When you leave a bright, shiny mark on somebody else, you leave a bright, shiny mark on yourself as well. When you leave a dark bruise on somebody else, like a black bruise on somebody else, you leave a black bruise on yourself. And so that is what kindness and respect for yourself is about as well. And then I cover in that, and this is a good one. In fact, mums need to hear this a fair bit. Being kind to yourself, self-care, filling your own cup. So in the story, Lillian learns about respect for others, and she's so busy doing everybody else's stuff because she wants to leave bright, shiny marks on. Albert magically turned that those glasses into contact lenses, or he made them invisible. I can't remember. And so she's got them on all the time. She can see the marks she's leaving on people every single day. So she's wanting to leave bright, shiny marks everywhere, and it's exhausting her because she's not treating herself with kindness and respect. She's not setting boundaries. She's doing all her brother's chores and then does time to do her chores, and then she hasn't got time to do her homework, and then her grades drop. That's an example. And we do the same. Sometimes you can feel like you're wanting to help everybody else, and then your cup gets empty, and then you're exhausted, and then you don't have enough fuel in the tank to help anybody. Like the oxygen mask, I think I was telling you guys about this in Mind Mastery, wasn't I? Last time, was it you guys? The oxygen mask, put the oxygen mask on yourself first and then help everybody else. And so that in there is kindness and respect for yourself. Are you guys following? Is this all making sense? Okay, so then the second last one, there's two more. Hang on, what am I doing for time? Oh yeah, not too bad. The second last one, yeah, thanks, Chicken. I love it when I can see some comments or some... Jump in, you guys. Ask me some questions. Give me what you're... Can any of you guys relate to this? Are you guys mums in here? I've got... Or parents? Yeah. I did mention the oxygen mask. Sorry for repeating myself. It's just such a good analogy, isn't it? It is so important. And Mother's Day is a good reminder for mums to make sure they look after you. And we used to feel like, actually I do remember, I did say it to you guys, we used to feel that was selfish. In fact, most mums are programmed because it's natural for us to have that mothering instinct to look after our children. You're a mum of 3, cool. To look after our children. But, our children first, our husband first, our everything else first. But in fact, we have to look after ourselves. 11, 9 and 6. Gorgeous. Same age as mine. My youngest is 6, my eldest is 14. I've just got one older, 2 years older than you, 3 years older. Yeah, cool. I know, it's a juggle, huh? And, but I wouldn't do anything else. I love it. So kindness and respect for others and kindness and respect for yourself. Now, my youngest son is quite short-tempered and he is quite, he's highly intelligent as well. I don't know where I got these smart kids from. They definitely didn't get it from me. But I'm a hard worker, not a natural smart person, So, but my youngest son is very good at flipping off the handle really quickly. He is highly reactive. And one of the things I've been teaching him is flipping his power. And instead of going, he's done this to me or she's done this to me. Yeah, that's right, Rachel. That's right. A mum of teens, assist yourself first before assisting others. Yeah, otherwise you can't think clearly and you can't make good decisions and you can't be a good parent. So my youngest son, teaching him to flip his power or flip his thoughts from a negative thought to a positive thought. Teaching him to stand in his power and choosing how he's responding to any situation. And taking responsibility for his own thoughts. This is the latest. Because he's very quick to go, just like I said, the victim. He's very quick to play the victim. And like at 6.5 years of age, if you can teach somebody that, like how much further ahead will he be than me? Like we all want our own children to be better than us. We want them to be better looking. We want them to be more, accomplished. We all want more for our children than what we had. That is just, I think that's natural. Very few parents want their children to fail. In fact, I don't think any parents want their children to fail. We all want our children to thrive. And the mindset of a child, if they can just have those tools to begin with, imagine the difference. At least they've got those tools. At least they have this understanding that, the power of self-responsibility, the power of integrity and honesty to you, not to other people. The power of respecting other people and what leaving a mark does to them or does to you, and then respecting yourself. So the last two I've got, one is how to make good decisions, and I've said this before with you guys, I think, as well. Our kids, when they are little babies, or when they're even up until, I don't know, depends on each child, but every decision is made for them. What they eat, what they dress, when they get up, when they go to sleep. And a lot of the time with overparenting, we don't allow our children to make their own decisions or learn how to make decisions. Like how to run that through their mind, work out what the choices are. This is what I do. This is what this story does. And it's actually with a set of twins. I have nephew twins, yeah? Work out what the choices are on the decision that's getting put in front of them. Work out what the consequences are for each of those choices, long term, and then weigh it up. And then decide. That is the best way in a simple format on how to make clear decisions. So to get emotionally charged out of it, so to get your emotions out of it, have a look at the 2 or 3 options you've got, then the repercussions or the consequences, may they be good or bad, for each of those options, and then you are fully equipped to make a proper decision. So that in a nutshell is what that story does. And there's 2 twins, Will and Wes. I'm godmother of William, so I made him the superstar. And Wesley, he's the naughty boy, but he's not really. It's actually the other way around in real life, but I flipped it because William's my boy and Wesley's my sister's godson. So William was making good decisions about what to do next, and Wesley wasn't. And it's when the boys are older, and it's actually about smoking. Wesley has a smoke, and then he gets in big trouble, and Albert, and he cheats in a test as well, actually, and which Wesley won't ever do. He just won't. It's not his personality. That's why I could do that. But Albert comes in and helps Wesley with his decision-making process. And then I run on into the last one, which is peer pressure. Recognizing peer pressure and standing up to negative peer pressure. And so it's a roll-on from William and Wesley. And I actually don't use William and Wesley. I use another little niece of mine. There's loads of us. There's so many kids. I use my a little niece of mine called Khaleesi, and she is... it's her when she's older, and we talk about standing up to peer pressure or recognizing negative peer pressure. Now, adults can do the same as this too. We can get caught up in what the crew are doing, and we can change the way, we can step out of our own power to fit in. It's not just for kids. Everybody talks about peer pressure and you think about teenagers, when in fact, peer pressure is across the board. I can get myself caught up and I catch myself because I'm doing such and such because that's what everybody's doing. But when in actual fact, I don't want to do that. Or I don't want to think that. Or I don't want to dress like that. Or I don't want that kind of car. Do you know? Can you guys relate to this? I'm just going to read some of your comments. My daughter is, yeah, Rachel, your daughter's really academic and you don't know where her smartness comes from. I've heard they get their smarty brains from their mothers. Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, my first one and my last one are really intelligent, but my middle 2 are actually my goers. They get stuff done and they achieve, and they aren't quite so complicated, to be honest. Okay, back to peer pressure. Standing up to peer pressure. Khaleesi in this one learns that the importance of peer pressure. So she wears dresses instead of jeans to school because she's trying to fit in with these few girls. And then she stops riding a horse with her dad on the weekend because one of the girls said it's not cool to hang out with your parents on the weekend. You should hang out with your friends. And she stops reading books because it's not cool to read books. Only squares read books. And she loves going shopping with her mum, and it's not cool to do that. So she stops doing that. And then she loves broccoli. And then somebody made fun of her at lunchtime for her to fit in. They said, broccoli looks like trees. Who would eat that? So she stops eating broccoli. And there's a few other things. And she actually starts feeling shit. She really starts feeling like she doesn't even like her friends anymore because she never actually feels like who she truly is accepted. And Albert comes on into the bedroom and speaks to her about being truly her, working out who it is that she wants to be and being happy with that. And if it means that being part of that group isn't serving her, then she doesn't need to be part of that group. I would love to have had that taught to me when I was about 15, I reckon. Because recognising negative peer pressure, most kids get in trouble because of peer pressure. Most of the time when your child, if they've come from a good background and upbringing, go off the rails for a little while, because I did the same. In fact, one of the things that I was going to tell you guys about self-responsibility and my mum, yeah, hi, thanks, is recognising when something or a group or a set of people are not serving you. And so if your child has an idea about who they are and where they want to go, then they know what groups serve them, what people serve them, what relationships serve them, and they know what doesn't. And if you can build that deep inner self-confidence for them to stand in their power and choose it and then act on it and be happy with that, it builds enormous resilience, and they reach their full potential in whatever field it is that they want to do. So, I don't know if I'm running out of time. I think I am. Yeah, just about. So that is you mastery. And us as parents, or anybody that's got anything to do with children, because the most important thing in life is, I believe, is our next gen, like how we are impacting our next generation. And the best way to do it is to lead by example within my, like my parenting tips. So what is it if all areas of those are taken care of? Now, we're not super women, men, parents. We're not like superhuman. Everybody stuffs up. But if something's not working in your life, have a look at those things that you can control about you. Self-responsibility, integrity and honesty, terribly confronting those two. Respect for others, respect for self. How are you making decisions? Are you making decisions emotionally, or are you... Yeah, that's awesome. Do you know what, Rachel? That is a testimony to your good parenting. Pat on the back for you. And just stand in your power and take it, because that is amazing. It's absolutely amazing. Good job. I applaud you. How to make good decisions? Sorry, are you making decisions out of an emotional state, or are you objectively looking at all of your options, the results of the options, or the repercussions or the consequences, may it be good or bad, and then you can decide which one. And then the sixth one is peer pressure. Are you just running with the sheep because that's always what you've always done? Or are you trying to fit into something that maybe, I don't know, at about 40 years of age, you realise that, you know, when you're a teenager, you are trying to fit in because you're trying to find your hood. But when you're 40, I don't know, you guys are probably around the same. Hi, Lisa, nice for joining us. When you're about 40, you actually start realising, you know, it doesn't really matter what other people think. It really matters what I think of me. And even when you do think that, it is quite easy to get stuck into, you know, like everybody's wearing their hair long. I'll wear my hair long. Everybody's wearing their hair short. You know, what's the latest trends? What's the latest fashions? Is it really serving you? Because if it isn't, don't do it. Stand in your power and not do it. I think that's such powerful stuff. So, I don't know if that's any good for you guys. There hasn't really been any questions asked. Pleasure, absolute pleasure. It's nice to get a pat on the back as from a mum to a mum, because, well, nobody says, geez, you're a good mum. Not very often anyway, do they? Nobody goes, jeepers, those kids are a credit to you. You must be doing an A1 job, because everybody's so busy doing their own. So if you can make sure you look after you, master you, your children will follow suit. Master you, and you can do more, be more, have more, and give more in whatever aspect in the world that you're wanting to do. So if you can do more, if you're looking after you, you can actually do more. If you're looking after you, if you are self-mastery 101, if you are a guru of yourself, you can give more, because there's more of you to give. Yeah. Yeah, you do. It's so nice to hear it when you get a congratulations for your parenting. Yeah, it is. It is really nice. If you can look after you with self-mastery, you can do more, you can give more, you can be more to a lot more people. You can impact so many more people when you've mastered you. I don't know about you, but when you see somebody that is standing in their own power and going somewhere, you kind of want to have a look and have a follow, don't you? Because there's something about a confident person, and you can tell when it's BS confidence, you know, like when it's fluff, or you can tell when it's actually somebody that has done a fair bit of work on themselves and really knows who they are with kindness, because, I don't know, they're just leaders in their own life. If you self-lead first. So I always work really hard to self-lead, and then you can lead others, be it your family. Yeah, you know, you're an amazing mum, but it took me very long to realise that. Yeah, I know, because as mums, we put everybody else first. We just do. All right, I hope that helped you. Do more, be more, have more, and give more. All right, make sure your own cup's full, and then you can give more. That's like absolute. My absolute pleasure, Rebecca. My absolute pleasure. I hope it'll help somebody. And I love the way it's up on the website now. That's pretty amazing. You girls are so clever in there. I am really proud of what I'm putting together, what I have put together. I'm still writing some of the last stories, as you guys might see. I don't know if you follow me, but I'm still writing some of the last stories, and it's fun, hey? It's all consuming. Now the kids are at school. My boys are all at school now. It is all consuming. I get in and I got an idea of what I want. I'm right stuck into, in fact, I'm about to today, my goal for today is to write my gratitude story. And I am going to use my third son, Dara, actually, as our main man. My pleasure, Katie. My absolute pleasure. My absolute pleasure. I'm hoping that I can help somebody somewhere with something. All right. Loads of love, you guys. Thanks so much for watching. I'm really grateful for Happiness Aid. I'm really grateful for all you girls taking time out your day to jump on and support me and watch. And loads of love. Ciao for now.